Good evening and good afternoon to you all, ladies and gentlemen. This is a new edition of Africa Today as Egyptian expatriates continued voting in the runoff of partial first phase House of Representative elections. This round of the vote involves the constituencies whose votes are annulled by a higher administrative court ruling. Up to 98 candidates are contesting 49 individual seats across 10 governorates. The voting process will run for 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday abroad on the 3rd and the 4th of January inside the country. The results are expected on January the 10th. Well, tensions are rising at the UN Security Council, a firm warning against any threats of Somalia's sovereignty following Israel's unilateral recognition of Somaliland. Cairo have warned that this diplomatic shift risks the stability of the Horn of Africa.
Egypt has called on the UN Security Council to send a clear message that Somalia's unity and sovereignty are inviolable under any circumstances and that any attempts to undermine them are firmly rejected. The permanent representative to the United Nations, Ihab Awad, said the Council bears responsibility for addressing the consequences of Israel's unilateral move to recognize the breakaway region of Somaliland. He emphasized the importance of upholding the principles of the UN Charter and maintaining the credibility of the Council's long-standing approach to Somalia. Speaking during Egypt's address to the Security Council, Awad welcomed steps taken by the Council this month to reaffirm support for Somalia. These included extending sanctions on Al-Shabaab and renewing the mandate of the African Union mission. He described these measures as part of joint efforts to support state building, reconstruction and development in Somalia. Awad warned that Israel's move undermines these efforts and contradicts principles the Security Council has upheld for decades, particularly its repeated affirmation of Somalia's unity and sovereignty over its entire territory. Rather than focusing on helping the Somali government strengthen stability and advance national reconciliation, Awad said the Council is now forced to deal with the destabilizing effects of Israel's unilateral actions. He warned that such moves threaten the political process, risk wider regional instability, and could draw Somalia into conflicts unrelated to its national interests. Awad stressed that Somalia's security and stability are closely linked to Egypt's own security. He cautioned that any action that fuels unrest in Somalia would have effects beyond its borders, spread instability across the region, encourage terrorist groups to expand their activities, and pose a serious threat to regional and international peace and security. Under international law, Somalia is recognized as a single sovereign state with borders established at independence in 1960. Both the African Union and the United Nations have repeatedly affirmed Somalia's territorial integrity, warning that recognizing breakaway regions could destabilize Africa by reopening disputes over colonial-era borders. Israel's move represents a clear departure from long-standing international consensus. No UN body, including the Security Council or the General Assembly, has recognized Somaliland's declaration of independence since it announced its separation in 1991. Israeli officials did not provide a detailed legal or diplomatic justification for the recognition, nor did they announce any treaties, plans to open an embassy, or formal agreements. Nonetheless, the announcement prompted immediate political backlash across Africa and the Arab world, with critics describing it as unilateral, legally invalid and destabilizing. Officials have repeatedly stressed that Somalia's security and stability are inseparable from Egypt's national security, warning that any move that fuels unrest in Somalia would have repercussions across the wider region, particularly in the Horn of Africa and the Red Sea corridor.
Welcome back. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone our dear guest, Dr. Ahmed Mostafa, international relations expert. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon and Happy New Year, inshallah, 2026. And may the people of the Global South having the prosperity and the good from Allah in the coming years, because we really get second off, this instability and wars, especially in our vision.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you and to your family. Well, Dr. Mostafa, Egypt have rejected since the first moment completely rejected and announced its complete rejection of the recognition by Israel of the Somali land. And actually, Foreign Minister Badr Abdel Ati have made several contacts with Arab and European counterparts who also had the same stance as Egypt. How did you see Egypt's move?
Egypt, because Egypt, one of the scale holders in the world, and especially in our vision, and a trusted country, especially through the past 3 years and even before, but especially with the problem of Gaza. Egypt, it was the first supporter of the Gazan people and supported the ceasefire agreement that was made on the 13th of October. This is why Egypt trying to solve and settle all the any projected or prospective problems in the region, and any problem can change the legal status quo of the Red Sea. And in order to, or the places or the country that very close to Egypt and the Arab interest, especially in the Red Sea or in the the Sea of the Arab and so on. And Somalia now is one of the problems, and Israel, by recognition, trying to change the stability and the status quo of a legal status of one Somalia or one country to divide it into two countries just for its own limited, interests, and for the interests of some of the others, maybe the United States or so on. And this area right now, it is full of tension. What's happening in Yemen between two Arab countries and so on. And of course, the matter of recognition of Somalia, what's happening also on in the Red Sea concerning, Ethiopia, the RSF in Sudan, and so on. This area became very volatile. Therefore, Egypt should protect such area and should protect its interests and the interests of the nature of the Red Sea and the places that nearby the Red Sea, because it is a matter of the national security. This is number one. Number two, it's a kind of protection of economic interests, because that 20% of the international trade are passing, the Red Sea and so on and such region. Therefore, it was like a duty for Egypt to do that, and in the proper time before, aggravating the situation of Somalia. Therefore, as you mentioned in the report, and as we see every day via the news, channels, Egypt will try to help Somalia, will try to make reconstructions of the Somalia itself and supporting the government, the real government of Somalia, and also trying to use all the parties just to come and to be unified and so on. And also they are playing, Egypt playing right now with the African Union to protect Somalia from any future division, because the country gets second off, the divisions or the civil wars or the so on. The matter of that already having like a negative impact on the countries that are very close to such places, included and not limited to Egypt, because once you have also, problems like this, and Sudan is very close to us, and Libya and Palestine and so on, you will have extra refugees in your country. We have so far around 10 million of international refugees in our lands. And if Somal also will be added, it will be another problem in this regard. And most of them, they try or they have the desire to come to Egypt and to flee from their home country. Therefore, it is better just to solve the domestic problems Otherwise, we will be a lot of negative consequences in this regard.
Yes. Also, the Arab League stance concerning the recognition of Israel, also the African Union, also some European countries, even President Donald Trump said that he's not going to take the steps of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in recognizing the Somaliland. How did you see this?
You know, America, sometimes I distrust, you know, the statements of America, because America is still supporting Ethiopia, for example. And he recognized before, or he admitted before Trump that he supported Ethiopia in the Renaissance Dam and so on. Therefore, how can I trust them? But because he doesn't want to make Egypt in confrontation for Israel, trying to maybe saying such words just to calm and just reduce the tension in this regard. Other ways, Egypt trying with other European countries, with other African countries, and with the Arab League, just to you know, contain the problems and stop you know, aggravation of the problems, and trying to avoid any future problems in this regard. But the only side that I can trust is the Arab League, because the Arab League should be unified, and no any country in the Arab League being out of the unity. This is the problem, because unfortunately there is a Gulf country, but I don't want to name it, trying most of the time to help Israel and support Israel, and being out of the unity. And this country, Egypt, warned it several times, but unfortunately they are not listening to the sound of you know, the voice or the mentality. This is exactly what we are doing, and this country should respect itself, because otherwise it will be like a plea for, you know, the clashes and so on. And this is exactly what Egypt trying, even on a stage or behind the stage, in this regard. Because, for example, what we are watching in Yemen also is very similar to what is going on to Somalia, and you know what I mean exactly.
Yes, Dr. Mostafa, the head of the Presidential Council of Somalia, said that to reporters that it seems that Israel wants to make a military base in Somaliland, I mean, with its recognition. Also, the idea of displacing the Palestinians maybe to the Somaliland. This is also one of the things that he said. Give us an idea about the timing of the recognition by Israel for the Somaliland.
Yeah, but this is coinciding with, because Egypt didn't yield and hasn't and will never yield to Israel and the whims of Netanyahu and his capitalist government. And because Netanyahu, he thought that Mr. Sisi of Egypt will be twisted on his fingers, like the other countries around. But unfortunately, we were like a very strong pin in his throat. What's so-called stainless steel pin on his throat, and will never give him an opportunity just to twist us on his finger. And this time, because we refused all his propositions concerning the displacement of the Gazan people, as Netanyahu and his fanatic and killer government, they trying to undermine the international agreement of the 13th of October, and America gave him a grace of time. But unfortunately, he didn't achieve anything. In addition to that, the Palestinian people and the Gaza people are very adhered and the most respected who are adhered to their homeland, despite all the dire situation and the dire circumstances that surrounding them. Therefore, Israel trying to make another, you know, fragile zone just to displace the people of Gaza and oblige them to displace their own land. Therefore, they try to make this matter in Somaliland or whatsoever the name, and I think it will never be achieved, because we take all the precautions just such his project or proposal supposed by Israel. And if America supported Israel, I think we have other ways to carry out or to take just to be against this solution. Yes. And now Saudi Arabia with us, and other countries, even Turkey and Iran, they are with us. And they will be afraid from this coalition, I think.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Ahmed Mostafa, International Relations expert. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going now. The relations between Egypt and Sudan is a historic one, and Egypt is always supporting Sudan and is sending humanitarian aid to Sudan to alleviate the burden on the citizens. Also, Egypt is signing agreements with Sudan also in the infrastructure field, in education, healthcare, electricity and water.
State railway operator has dispatched its 43rd special train to transport Sudanese nationals from Cairo to the country's southern border as part of an ongoing program facilitating voluntary returns to Sudan. The Egyptian National Railways, ENR, said on that the latest service departed Cairo carrying 1,028 passengers, most of them families. The train is bound for Aswan, a key transit point for Sudanese returning across the border. According to ENR figures, since the program began, Egypt has facilitated the transport of 41,828 Sudanese citizens through the rail corridor. The initiative targets Sudanese displaced by the war between the Sudanese Armed Forces SAF and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSF, which erupted in April 2023 and has triggered one of the region's largest displacement crises. Egypt has taken in hundreds of thousands of Sudanese since the fighting began, with most remaining in the country. Officials said the rail services are intended to support those who choose to return, as regional and international actors continue to coordinate humanitarian responses. According to the government figures, more than 1.5 million Sudanese nationals have entered Egypt since the outbreak of the conflict, marking the largest refugee influx in the country's history. The United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, reported that as of 30th of November 2025, Egypt was hosting about 822,000 registered Sudanese refugees and asylum seekers, making them the largest refugee group in the country, followed by Syrians, South Sudanese and Eritreans. In June, UNHCR said the total number of registered refugees in Egypt had surpassed 1 million, with Sudanese nationals accounting for nearly 3/4 of the total. The scale of arrivals has put pressure on infrastructure and public services, particularly in southern governorates such as Aswan, which serves as the main entry point for people fleeing Sudan. Foreign Minister Badr Abdelati renewed calls for greater international burden sharing, saying Egypt is hosting more than 10 million foreign nationals, only a small proportion of whom are formally registered with UNHCR. He said Egypt receives no financial benefit from hosting refugees, but continues to do so on humanitarian grounds, adding that some Sudanese have begun returning home amid reports of improved security in cities including Khartoum, Omdurman and Port Sudan.
Welcome back. After 14 years of closure due to the civil war, Libya's National Museum in Tripoli have finally opened its doors as a cultural fortress to safeguard the showcase the nation's Greek and Roman antiquities. Despite years of turmoil and oil wealth fueled conflict, the museum's administration successfully protected its vast collection, including ancient mummies, without a single attempted theft during the case. This reopening marks a hopeful new chapter for the Mediterranean country, offering a vital space for citizens Well, beneath the towering monuments of Luxor, of wooden staves in signaling a brand new chapter for one of the world's oldest martial arts, while Tahrib has long been an Egyptian long story.
In the heart of Luxor, the ancient art of Tahrib has taken center stage at a major cultural festival, blending the discipline of martial arts with the rhythm of traditional dance. Director of the festival's opening ceremony, Ahmed al-Shafi'i, explained that numerous Tahrib players participated in the event to honor a game rooted in the dawn of Egyptian civilization. Al-Shafi'i noted that the origins of the sport are well documented in antiquity, specifically appearing in carvings on the walls of the Beni Hassan temples and tombs. He emphasized that Tahrib remains a vital component of Egyptian heritage, traditionally accompanied by the mizmar, a reed instrument that dates back to the same era. While history once dictated that Tahrib was a male-only pursuit, a new initiative in Luxor is now opening the craft to girls and young women. Trainer Yvonne Assad observed that public perception is gradually evolving as more women pick up the stage. Assad pointed out that while some initially viewed women holding the sticks as a mere performance in traditional dress, the sight of women in sportswear treating the art as a combat sport has earned respect. She acknowledged that while some spectators feel pride in seeing girls master the discipline, others still view the sport as a male-exclusive right. For the trainees, the experience is providing more than just physical training. Student Kermina Hani described a profound sense of empowerment during her practice. Hani shared that it's a wonderful experience to challenge societal expectations and engage in combat, noting that the surprise of onlookers when she demonstrates her skill with the stick. Rooted in the principles of friendship and courage, Tahrib continues to serve as a powerful symbol of national pride, bridging the gap between Egypt's ancient past and its evolving future.
Well, with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program Africa Today. My name is Aman Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.